And he plays knight g5, which I felt like it couldn't be very good because I just take and play f6. I'm going to move both my knights and my rooks and play on the A and B files and wait for the right moment to play. And I was like, wait, this is actually pretty good. This game featured a really interesting opening and an absolutely deadlocked closed middle game. This was round 3 of the Pennsylvania State Championship, and in this round, I'm playing Rishab, who goes to Penn State Behrend. I played him 3 years ago when he was in high school, and it was a draw that he should have won. And it's a rematch, and I have the black pieces against him again. And yeah, I'm currently before this round started, I was 1 out of 2 with 1 win, 1 loss, and I'm hoping to bounce back and hopefully play someone higher rated in the next round if I can beat Rishab. He plays knight of 3, and I am very principled. I just play d5. He plays g3, so I play c5, and he plays d3. I play knight c6, just controlling the center more and trying to play the move e5. I was happy to see the move d4 or d3. Sometimes what white does is they play bishop g2, and after knight c6 they play d4, and then oftentimes it can transpose into a Catalan, or it can transpose into some other stuff, but white takes control of the center at the last possible moment. And I say last possible moment because let's say they castle here, after e5, now they cannot play d4 because I have too many defenders on it, on that square. So that's why after d3, I was very happy to see that move because now I know, okay, Rishab is not gonna take the center, and I'm gonna play. You know, I usually like to play this opening in the maximalist way. So this is the King's Indian attack. Actually, and this game was very similar to the game that I played at the Pan American Interclass Championship in January. So I'll link to that video. But yeah, so. It's a very interesting opening, and the way I like to play it, like I was just saying, is with a maximalist approach. I try to gain as much space as possible and do the most I possibly can. So after knight c6, he plays bishop g2, and I play e5. And he castles, and I play bishop e7. And I'm not committing this knight to f6 yet. And I'm going to develop my bishops first, and wait for him to strike with e4, close it down, and then start my h-pawn push. And so far, it hasn't been super successful. Online, I have decent results, but I don't have super great results over the board with this defense. And I play bishop e7. He plays move c3. This was the first time I've seen someone do this. Usually my opponents don't play c3. Usually they play knight bd2, and they use the knight to help support the e4 pawn push. So seeing c3 was pretty interesting. I didn't know what to think about it at the time, but I just played bishop e6. Once again, not committing my knight until he closes the center, until he strikes with e4, and now he plays knight bd2, and I play queen c7. Potentially preparing to castle queenside, leaving my options open, not committing my knight, and now he plays e4. One thing that I didn't consider that much, well, firstly I played d4, and he played c4, completely locking everything up. One thing that I didn't really consider was that, like, maybe I don't have to push to d4. I wasn't really thinking about that. I was kind of playing fast, but I wonder if I could have done something different here. Like, maybe I can castle. Not super sure though. I'm not sure if this benefits me or not. Well, in this case, the pawn would be pinned, but I'm not sure. Maybe castling queenside is an alternative move. That's not too bad. I'm not super sure. I'm sure I have alternatives to not lock it up, but I definitely didn't think it was bad. I did end up going d4 though. He went c4 and I went h5. So now, since the center is all locked, now I'm playing h5, and he plays the move knight b3. And I was like, yo, this knight cannot be good. Like, this knight on b3 is a horrible knight. Like, let's be honest here. It just feels like such a weird square for the knight. But the idea is pretty simple. Well, one, he's opening the door for the bishop. And he's also attacking the c5 pawn. So if I do continue with my pawn push, he could potentially take with either the knight or the pawn. Let's say he takes with the knight, and I take, he takes, I take, and then he takes. And I could do this move, for example, and I was like, this is probably good for me. For example, rook here would probably just be winning, probably. But he doesn't have to take this h4 pawn. He could also take it with the knight, the pawn instead, and do this. But maybe this still isn't so bad. I'm not sure. In this case, I don't have bishop h3 because the rook isn't guarding it. So, but maybe I can play this move though. And this has got to be good for black, right? This has got to be good for black. I'm actually not 100% sure how to evaluate this. But I feel like I probably didn't need to defend my c5 pawn. Maybe I could just push h4 in hindsight. In hindsight, this is what I realized. In the game, though, I just pushed b6. But the more I look at it, the more I think maybe I could have just pushed h4 right now. It really doesn't look that bad at all. So, yeah, I probably should have. This is a no engine recap. I like to turn on the engine at the very end, but there's a few moments where I like to do it. I think I'm gonna throw up the engine right now just to see what it thinks. Yeah, it thinks a5 is good. It thinks knight h6 is good, and not h4 though. H4 is okay. Yeah, h4 is okay, and b6 is okay too. Okay, I just wanted to check that real quick. Okay, so now I'm turning off the engine. So I played b6, which apparently was a good move. I wasn't sure at the time, but I felt like it couldn't be bad. And I have connect 4 on move 10, so I feel like I got to be winning. That's a joke. And he plays knight g5, which I felt like it couldn't be very good because I just take and play f6. And oh my gosh, dude, look at this beautiful triangle of pawns here. And I have a light squared bishop, and I traded off my dark squared bishop, so it felt like I had to be better here because I also get h4 in. And at first, I hesitated here for a long time. I thought for a long time here because at first I thought, oh man, if I play h4, the g4 square is guarded by the queen, and he could play g4. And I'm like, oh man, and if I play h3, he could play bishop f3, or he could do something else, like bishop h1, and maybe he can play f3, but then his bishop's in jail forever, but maybe this pawn is weak. But then I thought, wait a second, if he plays g4, I could push to h3, or I could just push to g5. And then I could play knight e7, knight g6, and knight f4, and put my king over here to g6, and then play on the queen side. Like, I just had this like crazy realization that like, hey, like positionally, his bishop's dead forever. I don't even have to push to h3, although I could. And his bishop is dead forever. This bishop is dead forever. I'm gonna move both my knights and my rooks and play on the A and B files and wait for the right moment to play. And I was like, wait, this is actually pretty good. So I was like, I'm not worried about g4 at all. But he plays f4. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to take and castle. And I'm not sure where I went wrong here. Because I felt like, at this point, it feels like black should have something. But I'm just not sure what. One thing I did consider was g5. Making it harder to play f4. But I actually didn't think, I just wasn't sure it was the right way to play. Because after f4, I could take and then castle, and I have this open g file. But I just wasn't sure if it was better than playing h4. That's the thing. Like, is it better than playing h4? And I just wasn't 100% confident. He could take, and then I think black has to be better probably because I'm just gonna move my knight and put my rook and queen on this file, and this knight on b3 still isn't doing anything. But my knight on c6 isn't really doing that much either. But it does. But maybe it has better prospects. Maybe I can go knight e7 at some point. I just didn't know how to. I just couldn't figure out how to evaluate this position. I just couldn't figure it out. I wasn't sure. Is h4 better? Is g5 better? I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. So I ended up playing h4. He plays f4. I take. We have this open h file, and he ends up playing f5. And now we have this super locked structure here. Like, these pawns are not moving anytime soon. And he plays king f2, which makes a lot of sense. And if you watch that game from round 6 of the Pan American Intercollegiate Chess Championship that I played, my opponent, this position is almost the exact same. It's actually disturbing how similar this position is. The only difference between that position and this position was that the pawn and knight were switched. Like, there was a pawn on c2, a knight on c4, and a pawn on b3. That was the main difference there. So very eerily the same type of position here. So, and I have to really figure out how I'm going to get my pieces into the game, because if I do nothing, he's just going to put 2-3 rooks on the h file and blow me off the board on this side of the board and try to infiltrate, and it's bad news bears. So I play knight h6, controlling the g4 square, so the queen can't go there, and I end up after rook h1, I play rook dg8. With the idea that after the queen moves, I can go bishop e8 and move my queen over, and I thought my position was really solid. And of course, I'm very happy if he takes my knight, because then I can go queen g7 and work on the g file. So I was pretty happy with this. But my original intention was bishop e8, but then I realized something. I was like, wait a second. So I could play bishop e8 and go here, go knight f7, and go here. But I was like, do I need to do that though? Like, I'm not super convinced that I need to do this. And like, my pieces are kind of stuck. My knight is stuck guarding the h8 square, and he's starting to infiltrate. In some cases, like for example, I don't even know what move to make. So let's say I play king b2, for example. Then he could play queen f1, and if I just do nothing again, then takes queen h1, and he has the open h file, and I don't really think I have anything going on this side of the board, but maybe I do, maybe I don't. So I just wasn't really sure how good this was for me. So that's why I decided to play the really interesting move, g5. And I was really proud of this move. If he takes en passant, I'm going to take back with the rook. And now my bishop and knight can get in the game, and it doesn't look so bad. For example, rook h3. Well, he can't play that because my bishop covers that square. Let's just say, I don't even know what move to make for him. What move should I make for him? Yeah, actually, I have no idea what move to make. Let's say bishop f3, for example. Then I could play... Oh, it's not so easy for me. I can't go here because then the knight on h6 would hang because it's defended by... the rook is defended by the bishop here. So I can't move my rook. If I move my knight with a check, then takes and check, and I'm down a piece. I'm down a bishop. So that's not good. So actually, maybe it's not that good if he does take en passant. I actually don't know what move to make. I guess I could play knight f7, allowing him to take, and then taking the open file. This just doesn't look that great for me, but maybe it's okay. I actually thought it was good for me, but looking at it now, I actually don't think it's that good for me. I actually am not 100% sure what to play. I could play this now, immediately, and after king up, maybe just go takes, win the pawn up, and win the pawn back. One thing I was thinking about was that if check, then here, then that's good. And I was also thinking about if If up, then I can go check. And he has to go back. And I do have repetition if I want it. Except if he goes back, then it's good for me. But I don't know what I would have actually played here. I mean, the best can't just be a draw, right? I mean, maybe it is. Maybe I even have something like this, but then my knight gets trapped. My knight sort of gets trapped there. Yeah, like something like this. And it's not super easy. So yeah, very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. Actually, wait, hold on. If we go back to this position here. Wait, not queen f1. That would hang the knight in one move. So queen e1. Takes. Queen g1. Queen f7. Yeah, this actually isn't so simple. Huh. This is super interesting, actually. Yeah, and maybe I'm threatening a move like, let's say, like if he does nothing here. I am threatening a move like, let's say I go here, and he just goes back here. Maybe I'm threatening some sort of rook takes in some cases, and that's just checkmate. So like, yeah, maybe it's not so easy for him. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this position now. Looking at it now, I'm still very confused. I'll be interested to see what the engine thinks about it. But I actually thought like I would be doing pretty fine if he did take en passant. The thing is, he didn't. He just played rook h3. I'm like, oh, I have nothing to worry about. Because after bishop e8, and he doubles up rooks, I play queen g7, defending my rook with my queen and my rook. And he plays g4, completely locking down the queen side. I was very shocked to see that move. I guess he never wanted me to play g4, I guess. I'm not threatening to play g4 now. Like, let's say he plays queen f1. I'm not playing g4 now because I would just hang the knight, which would be bad news bears. I'm not threatening to play g4 now, but it just seems so weird to play g4 and completely locking it down. But I guess it's not bad or anything. It doesn't, but it really does. I mean, just look how locked this structure is. It's kind of crazy to look at. Very crazy to look at. I play knight f7, and now there's all this tension on the h file. And I thought, yeah, like I'm really going to be doing completely fine here. Like rook, and like I'm just going to trade off the rooks. And honestly, like what I was thinking about here, after queen f1, was that if I trade off all of the heavy pieces, both rooks and the queens, I never lose. Like, I never lose. Like I might never win, but I never lose. Like, I have two knights. He has two bishops. His bishops suck. My knights also sort of suck, but they have long-term prospects because they can maneuver around better. And I can also, my king closer to the queen side. So I think I'll be able to generate stuff. And time's ticking. And I ended up just trading all the heavy pieces. Because I thought there's no way I'm worse. There's like no way. Like I really thought there wasn't any way to be worse. I do want to instant rewind a little bit and just talk about where the pieces belong. Because that was kind of the hardest part. Because like right now, like he can't move. All of his minor pieces suck, but all my minor pieces suck. So I kind of had to figure out, just like, where do my pieces belong? Do I play knight e7, for example? It feels a bit more natural than knight h6, blocking your own rook. But after rook h1, or even queen g4 here, it's really awkward. It's really awkward to defend this g7 pawn, and it's not super easy. And your queen's vision on it is being blocked by both the knight and the bishop. So actually figuring out, I was very proud of myself to figure out this maneuver with knight h6 and rook dg8. And then to go bishop e8 to give my queen the space to move. And then, of course, maneuvering my knight back to f7. So I thought this was genius by me because I like giving myself pats on the back. You know, like just playing knight h6, knight f7, bishop d7, bishop e8, and figuring out the right maneuver. And really, he was never posing any problems to me throughout the entire game. And we reached this endgame where only I can win. That's my mentality. And here I play knight b8 because I actually thought he might beeline towards this f6 pawn. For example, queen e2, bishop c6, knight g3, if a6, knight h5, and he's attacking this this g6 pawn or this f6 pawn, so I was just defended. So this was what I was thinking about, and I wanted to play bishop c6 because if a6 here, and let's say b5 and knight a5, if I play knight d7, look at how these knights block in my bishop. Isn't this so ugly? My knights blocking my own bishops like this. So my idea was to get my bishop out from behind the knight, so then after knight h5 I can meet it with knight d7. And I can still go knight d6 and use my other knight to help my pawns move forward. I thought like, okay, if he beelines towards his f6 pawn, I'm still going to be doing fine. So that's why I went knight b8. I'm not sure if it's the best move, but I thought it made sense at the time. And now I'm expanding on the queen side. I'm developed my knight. And he never beelined towards to attack the f6 pawn because he probably knew I could defend it not too horribly bad. Not too difficultly. And yeah, he starts moving his king over a little bit. I thought he might try to like move his bishop back over here to try to defend against my queenside counterplay. But then this g4 pawn might get weak in some cases, and he probably didn't like how his bishop blocks his king from getting over there. So I guess it makes sense to leave his bishop on f3 for now. And he moves his king over. I move my knight back forward, and I play knight b4. And I thought, okay, if pawn takes, bishop takes, I forgot what I was thinking here. I think knight d8, knight b7, knight d6 is a fine idea. And maybe a5, a4. And the game is still going. It's definitely not like, I don't feel extremely good about my winning chances or anything like that. But I'm, once again, I'm never going to lose this, and I'm the only one pushing here. So I thought he would take the knight because both of these pawns are hanging. But instead he goes knight c1. And I was like, okay. He's defending everything. And at this point, I was like, okay, I guess it's probably going to be a draw. Like, this knight guards everything really well. It's really hard for me to break through with these pawns. I mean, we have a symmetrical pawn structure, and in terms of the pawns on the same files and stuff like that. So it's really hard to generate anything. So I take his c4 pawn, and yeah, if he takes this way, for example, I have king a5, and if he takes now, my king gets in and looks kind of scary. So after I take on c4, he takes on b4. And yeah, he gets out, and I take back, and he takes like this. I have this 2-on-1 on the queen side, but it's not enough. He's able to defend it very well. He has these other two weaknesses, but it's really hard for me to target. And to his credit, he holds pretty well. I play a5, I play a4, and I don't think there's really any way for me to make progress. I improve my pieces, and I offer a draw. I really wanted to sacrifice the bishop or the knight. I really did. But I just couldn't justify it. After a move like knight d3, I have 2 pawns for the piece, but that's it. And I was like, am I playing to win here or just playing to lose? This definitely looks like I'm playing to lose. I can play this move, attacking both the pawn and the bishop. Wait a second. Why is this actually not so bad? Wait, why does this look like it's not horrible? Wait a moment. Yeah, wait. This doesn't look so bad. I got to have to defend the pawn here. Oh, e5. Wait. Instant rewind on this. Wait, what? Okay. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight d3. Or king d3. King d3 also makes sense, but then, yeah, the bishop on e2 isn't hanging. What move do you make? As white. Okay, maybe this is the way to play. Maybe this is the way to play. And if A4, B4... Wait, why is it actually so hard to make a move? No way can I take and go here. Oh my gosh. Wait, what? Oh my gosh. You have to give your piece back. Oh my gosh. Wait, is this... Wait. I'm so confused right now. No way. No. No. This sacrifice cannot be good. Nope. I'm turning on the engine. This What? A3? This endgame is winning. If knight B3, bishop A4, bishop here, bishop takes, pawn takes, this endgame is winning. Oh, this endgame is winning because I have this passed pawn, A2, king over, knight takes, knight C1. This endgame is winning for me. In this position, how bad is this move? Okay, very bad. Oh, wait, no. Here. How bad is this move? It's not bad. It's not bad. It's 0.0. It's not bad. Okay, more importantly, okay, that's ridiculous. Okay, go back. A3. If king B1. Bishop A4. Bishop F3. King A5. Bishop G2. B3. Takes. Takes. If knight takes here. King up. There's a fork. Here. Knight D2 check. Here. Knight D2 check again. Here. King B4. And if here, King A4 or B4, both winning. I can't believe this. I thought about playing A3, but my mentality was after knight B3 here, he just moves the bishop, and after it takes, this is a dead draw. Wow, I'm just, wow. I need to recover from that. Okay, game review time.